Hi, Mike's Carburetor Parts. I'm going to do a rebuild on this Rochester Monojet one-barrel carburetor. First we're going to disassemble it. Then we'll clean it. Put it back together. These Monojets typically went on Chevys. Lots of Chevy pickups with the 6-cylinder engines. This one used a divorce choke, which means the choke thermostat fits inside the intake manifold, or mounts on it I should say, and then it hooks up with a rod and right here and opens and closes the choke. Little okay, there we go. Alright, so that's the top, and let's take this out. This would be your vacuum brake, which opens up the choke slightly when you press on the gas so that it doesn't choke out. Okay, you see the little diaphragm in here. Come on. Hooks onto the choke valve just like so. Now, I wouldn't take the choke valve apart or the throttle body. I wouldn't take the valve apart off unless it's corroded or really dirty, crusty where you need to clean it. There's too many chances of breaking the screws. The screws are kind of soft, so unless you got a real reason to do it, I'd leave it alone. Okay, so there's the gasket. You see that gasket's broke right there? Well, that's so it goes over the power piston here. Alright, put that over there, and let's take this off. This is the lever for the accelerator pump. Actually is operated by the throttle. There's your throttle right there. You can see how it pumps the accelerator pump. And notice how it goes on here, because it looks kind of complicated. Kind of the pits when you install them. That I know. Now, as of this video, we do carry this little arm right here. As they wear, you can see the wear marks on this. They wear and break, so keep that in mind. We do have those. May not have them forever. I don't know. Things come and or go. Let's hold up here. Yeah, swing right around like so. It's got a little tit on it to keep it in there. Okay. Let's take the choke, float out. It's about to fall out anyway. It's got the little choke pin here. You can see the choke valve or needle is falling out. Go ahead and remove that. Use a wide bladed, wider than I have, so you don't chip the choke. Okay, I'll have to get one out here in a bit. I don't have one in front of me. So here's the power piston assembly. There's the power piston, along with the metering rod. And this is the rod used. It fits right in there to pull it up and down. Works off a vacuum. And then you got a little spring that goes in here. Keep the piston up, or helps push it up. And there's your pump. Now the starter kits generally just have the cup that you replace. You just pull it off, and there's a little tool in the kit for pushing it back on there so you don't damage the rubber. Don't put any oil or anything on it. And a little spring that goes over it. And then here's your return spring underneath it. There are no check balls down here in this one. I don't think any of the Monojets have it. Here's your main jet down here. You can get the light to shine on it just right. Don't change your jet unless you have a reason to. If your plugs are black, you need to maybe decrease the size of your jet. If you're in high altitude, you may have to decrease the size of your jet. Trying to see if it has a number on it. I can't see it. A lot of times they'll have the number stamp with the size. Otherwise, you got to take a numbered drill bit and measure the hole. Now, keep in mind that the metering rod fits in there sloppy. That's what it's supposed to do. I get a lot of questions about that. All it is doing is restricting the fuel. It's not supposed to plug the hole off. No gasket underneath the jet. Okay, get the needle out of there. Take the throttle body loose here. See how everything fits on here. It's your fast idle right there. You can see an idle, it's going to be down like that, and then when it gets cold, it gets on this fast idle step, and all that does is just holds up your throttle valve a little bit, and that's what gets you your fast idle. If you do decide to take the throttle valve out, I recommend not doing unless it's corroded or dirty. Be sure to mark it so you get it back in the exact same way. Otherwise you may end up with a gap in there that you shouldn't have, and you'll be chasing down a vacuum leak forever. Okay, so here's your idle mixture screw. When you put it back in it, you turn it in till it seats gently. Inspect your idle mixture screw. They don't come in the kits normally, and just look for any scoring here. If it's scored, you're going to have to replace it. Now this one happens to be steel, so it could damage the carburetor. Sometimes they're steel, most of them are in brass. But anyhow, you just seat it gently and then turn out and turn the half, and that gets you started. There's a little plastic insert right here. You see it was staked over. You can take that out. gasket. And then other than the needle, or the float valve seat, which I got to get a bigger screwdriver, somebody put it in awful tight. It has a gasket under it, so you want to take it out and look for cracks around the seat. Generally there won't be any cracks. Make sure you clean all the old gasket off. I can't tell you how many I've seen that's had 2 gaskets. The other thing is, let's see, be able to take this off. I don't have a crescent wrench in front of me. I should. No. Okay, let me get a tool for that. Okay, I broke it loose with a crescent wrench. You have a filter that goes in here. Okay, this is the 1-inch paper filter, and you see the open end goes towards the fuel line. Okay, the fuel line, of course, doesn't stay on here. Somebody's modified this so they can have an inline fuel filter put on here with a rubber hose. That's fine, no problem there. You could almost get along without this, but I suggest putting it in there. It can't hurt. And there is a return spring. If you don't have the return spring in there, it's not going to work at all. And that's the filter. Get it out here. And there is a this is a steel aluminum fiber gasket. It's kind of like rubberized on one side. It helps seal it better. Don't put any Teflon on there. And there you go. It's all apart. It's ready to be clean. And you can use a ultrasonic, which we used to use. I don't rebuild carburetors anymore these days, so I don't use it anymore, but ultrasonic's good. They're pretty expensive, so chances are you won't have one of those. The one I like is Simple Green. Just get it at Home Depot. Get a gallon of Simple Green, throw it in a bucket, soak this for about 2 hours, no more than 4. That Simple Green will tarnish, especially aluminum, which this throttle body is made out of. It actually will discolor it, so you want to be careful with that. Rubber parts, no problem. You don't need to clean your float. This is nitrofill. I suggest changing it to a brass. That should be it. And one thing I might suggest watch out for is, since I'm thinking of it, I'll tell you about this when we put together, is this float tends to rub on the sides if it's not perfectly straight. I mention that because I've had that problem in the past and had a hard time chasing it down. So there, oh wait a minute, I forgot one other thing here. On your main discharge, kind of wiggle this. It's a little T, wiggle it back and forth like that, and it'll pull out because it's staked down. Okay, and then there's this little gold color gas spring and a check ball that goes in there. Okay, and you need the check ball, and there you go. Now it's apart. I almost forgot that piece. There you go. Soak it. We'll do that and wash it off with hot water if you can. Blow out all the passageways, especially the small holes, any small holes like this one. And your right here where it goes up, probably if I follow it down, probably goes to the idle mixture. And the idle mixture hole right here, you see, make sure that's open. And right here is your secondary idle mixture. You want to be sure that's real clear, or you'll have idle problems. But anyhow, the point is just make sure all the passages are nice and clean and clear. You can blow air through them, especially the real small ones like that. They easily get plugged. Alright, we'll come back and put it back together. Thank you.